Growing up, me and my brother would always go to our grandfather's place to watch old TV shows like Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry. We always loved watching Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck or Wile E. Coyote, and those episodes will always be so crazy. Even with Tom and Jerry, Tom always wanted to capture him or eat him or something like that. To this day, we watch the show because every time we go back and remember an episode, there's always something so goofy that's going on, or they're in a very outrageous situation. We've always wanted a game that sort of had that animation that we've seen in those shows. We never imagined how it would be, and that's when Cuphead came around, and it just blew us all away with hand-drawn animations, and took their time with both the game and the DLC and making it as engaging as possible and fun, and calls back to all the different things that we're used to. And after Cuphead, we was put in this position where we always have that feeling in our body like we want to see more games in this style, and we wasn't sure if we was ever going to get that, or if he did, we will get a game that was trying to copy Cuphead or be like a cheap knockoff or something like that. But thankfully, that didn't happen. We actually ended up getting a great game, which is Mouse P.I. Fire. As soon as you start the game, the music already catches your attention right from the start screen. The music has like this jazzy noir vibe to it, and it fits right at home in this game, and the black and white just makes it even better. Just from that alone, I already knew Mouse P.I. understood the assignment, because it's not only for the animation that we want to experience games like this, it really is the music, the art, and everything put together that creates this vibe that we really want. Getting into the story, in this game you play as Jack Pepper, or Pepper Jack, voiced by Troy Baker, who, if you don't know, he locked in playing as Joel from The Last of Us and Booker from Bioshock Infinite. So once we heard that he was going to be on this game, we already knew that he was going to do a great job. And with how corny and goofy this game is, he just fits right at home.
They begin in quiet rooms with friendly voices and fondue bottles. Mine started a few weeks back. The sky was just the exit wound.
As Jack, you work alongside Wanda, which she is a investigative journalist. She works for the Mouseburg Herald, the local newspaper company that you will see all throughout the game when you're collecting the different collectibles in the game. The main case that you're both working on is that an old friend of Jack named Steve literally just vanished in the middle of a magic performance, and honestly, that might have been the best magic performance ever, because he's just been gone the entire time. But because he has been gone the entire time, they definitely thought that there was something wrong, because he always had like a plan. So because that didn't go through, he is put to the task to figure out what's happening. Even though that this is our main case, when you continue playing the game, you realize that there's many other things that happens that seem to interconnect with each other throughout the game. So at times you will get side gigs to help people that's in the town to figure out what they need help with, or if they would want to get a certain picture or something like that, or you actually find more evidence during your current investigation that has you going all throughout the map. What I love about getting information from all the characters is just hearing how great everybody's voice acting is, and especially hearing their banter with each other, or these random jokes that they have, especially about cheese. It just be so random.
So who the hell are you?
I'm Igor.
Igor? Not Igor?
No, Igor.
Why so many R's?
It's harder to pronounce, as the classics would say.
And then with Tammy, you could go and upgrade your weapons, and with any blueprints that you find all throughout the game, which is actually really cool. And then you could talk to other people like the bartender, and he just tells you different things and rumors that he lets you know about. And they're old friends as well, so they just catch up. So hearing the way everyone interacts with each other, it really makes the world feel alive, because people know who Jack is, and some people don't like him, some people do. Everyone knows that he does a great job, and eventually he's going to figure out what's going on. A lot of the characters I mentioned are already in the hub area that you'll be in. So this is where your office is located as well. I love this little area. It is a small spot to be in, but there's a lot of different things you could do. Like if you don't want to deal with investigating anything at the moment, you could play this little baseball card game that at first I was like, I don't know what's going on, but it soon got addicting the more I played it. And it does lead you to get a secret item the more that you play and win. Then there's the shop where you could either get new cards for your baseball game and even re-up on your ammo if you really need to. But honestly, I don't think that's even necessary with how much ammo you get during your gameplay. From time to time, people do come through to the neighborhood and look for you or have something to give you. Like for example, the paperboy, or even people who need your help to start on a different case, pulling up to you at your office, which is cool and kind of scary sometimes when they pop up right behind you. When it's time to actually start your investigations, you could start driving around to the different levels that's available, and each one that you go and complete unlocks the next one, and every single level becomes wackier than the last one. You would go from fighting robots in the underground lab dungeon to being at a random movie set where you're now starring in your own movie that you never heard of.
And action! With grit in his gut and a case on his mind, RPI steps into the darkest alleys of the city. But what awaits him in the shadows?
The combat in this game is one of my favorite things. It feels like an old school Doom game with its own twist with the animation. The movement feels fast, and the amount of weapons they give you throughout the game is just amazing. It feels like you just have an infinite arsenal of different ways to fight against the mobsters because they just keep throwing them at you no matter what you do. I have a couple weapons that really help me throughout the game and are my favorites, like James Gun. And I'm not talking about the director. It's actually called James Gun, and it's best to be used when you're facing a whole bunch of enemies because it really helps you just create enough space for you to move around and heal. The Varnisher is another weapon that I really like. It's like an acid sort of gun, and when I was first using it, I'm like, how did they allow this gun to be in here? Because it felt like one bullet, the enemies would just die immediately because they would just get stunned and not shoot you and then immediately just turn into a glob. Last but not least is your hands. Sometimes the mitts is all you need when you don't got no ammo. And one of my favorite things about this game are these random moments where you use these consumables that just give you these crazy strength. So one of them is like the spinach Popeye be eating up, and it just immediately gives you the hands. You could just keep punching people one hit after another and knock them out. Another one was him drinking a perfectly brewed coffee, and that just gave him a gun without even needing one, all through his mitts.
Don't let up, boys! Hey, where's Better needed?
They did an amazing job with the expressions of the enemies, especially when they get hit by like environmental things like the canisters that blow up or the ones that freeze them, or when they are hit by the acid. It just like you see their little eyes just looking at you, or like they're frozen in place until you kick them or something like that. It's a funny touch that adds on to the rubber hose animation style. On top of weapons, you do gain some abilities throughout the game. Sometimes it could be as simple as a double jump, and other times it could be being able to hover while spinning your tail really fast. The way you learn these abilities is actually pretty funny as well, or even some of the tutorials, because they have these posters or flyers that be up that are like sort of callbacks to like different shows or games and stuff like that. One of them was Targeted, and it seemed like Duck Hunt, but let me not say too much because I do not want Nintendo to be going too crazy now. And then double jump, I learned from an old rat stuntman.
Jump? Just act like you didn't. Clear your mind. No thoughts, no fear, no gravity. Then, when you forget you're midair, jump again. Works like a charm.
Apparently, I work for Jack. I will not be trying that in real life. Something that's really cool about the weapons and abilities you get is the fact that it's not only used to this fight against the enemies, they do give you a bit of puzzles where you could figure out how to get to a certain area or use a certain weapon to get through the wall, a fake wall at that, to help you find secrets that's hidden all throughout the levels. And those could be varied from comic book strips, baseball cards, or even newspaper articles. Every time Jack gets something that he can interact with, he does like this sort of animation, but he gets his bobblehead that looks like him and he tickles it, it laughs, and it's kind of funny. But he gets a new weapon or ability, like he checks it out to see how the weapons is, and it's just a nice little touch. But when it comes down to the boss battles, you need all hands on deck. You need to utilize all of your weapons, abilities that you know, and even making sure where all the healing items and ammo is at, because the bosses are really just going to be beating your ass for fighting them out. So you just got to be ready for anything. And that's the reason why you need to keep upgrading your weapons anytime that you go and find schematics, because boss battles can get difficult. When it reaches, I think, level 2 or 3 for your gun, that is when you get like a new ability or a new way to shoot with your weapon. So let's say if you're upgrading the boomstick, which is like a shotgun, your alternative shot would be a charged up bullet that will do a whole bunch of damage to like the bigger enemies as well. When it comes to the James gun, the alternative shot would be literally spraying and praying. When you're not fighting enemies or bosses and you just look around for a moment, the game is actually really beautiful. And I thought at first, because the game would be in black and white the entire time, that I would be bored with what I was seeing. But I actually enjoyed seeing all of the art and the different shades of gray and black, and even the cute little animals that just be around. The attention to detail with what they have in the game is actually really great. I love the fact that there are moments where you could see the world as it is when you're not focused on investigating, or even when you're in a case at the moment. Like you see like people just trying to check the train inside the train station, or walking around by your little neighborhood and people just shopping, or seeing someone just sleeping after they drank. It actually makes the world feel more alive than I thought it was, because I thought it would be hard to show that through this sort of game, but they really proved me wrong.
Hey! Never heard of patience?
Ever heard of move?
Yeah, welcome to public transit, bub.
Now, despite all the things that I really enjoy in this game, there have been a couple things that have been messing me up throughout my playthrough. Thankfully, none of them are game breaking, but I wish some of these things would be changed or fixed. So the first thing has to do with the safes that's all around the levels. Anytime you see one, you would definitely want to open it to see what you could get. The thing is that when you're opening up the safe, if you either run out of time or get hit by a spike or just back out by accident, you cannot try again. So unless you have a previous save before you try to lockpick the safe, then you could do that. But if you didn't, yeah, you're out of luck, and you gotta start over your playthrough if you want to get 100% everything. And yeah, that would be annoying, because sometimes I would reload the save and I would have to get the other things that I had picked up because that was a part of the save, or I would be farther from the safe when I load the game and I would have to go through the same way that I went before, and if I mess up, I would have to keep starting over and over till I get it right. So that will get pretty annoying. Even when it comes to side jobs, if you miss out on doing that specific thing someone had asked you at the area that you're in, then yeah, you definitely can't do that. But other than those game design choices, things were fine. But then I dealt with something when I was trying to upgrade weapons for the first time with Tammy. Going inside her store, I would immediately just fall through the ground, and I would be so confused because I thought that there was a hole in the floor. I kept trying to just walk through, and I kept falling every time. So I realized I had to jump over an invisible spot that I could have seen to make sure that I wasn't falling through the floor. Thankfully, it wasn't the entire floor where everything was going through, because that would have been a bad time for me. It just felt like a Looney Tunes gag that I just was not aware of. Maybe it is, I'm not even sure, but I hope that could be updated soon. I'm very happy there wasn't anything game breaking that would, like, let's say ruin the save or anything like that, or have me stuck. So all in all, I think Mouse PI for Hire is a great game. I think it's a game that everyone should experience, and I know that there's many games that is out now, but out of all of those games, I think Mouse is one that people should definitely check out. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's a fun shooter game, and with this 1930s noir vibe, take the chance on it. We're just very grateful again to be able to share our experience with y'all. And we just want to give thanks to Playside Studios and Fumi Games because they provided us the code to actually experience Mouse PI for Hire so that we could share how we feel about the game to all of you. So thanks again. And the rating that we gave Mouse PI for Hire is 8 Gouda cheese out of 10.